Hello, everyone. This is Dan Gramza, and welcome to dangramza.com Market Studies for Monday, May 18th. And if you're not familiar with these videos, this is a daily chart you're looking at. The red line means sell, green line means buy. If it's a dashed line, that means it's something that happened earlier in the week. And you can go to dangramza.com and you could look at the last 10 years of videos and you could see how these lines changed over this past week. Well, let's look at what's going on. We have a market with higher yields and we have concerns. Concerns about inflation, concerns about the Iranian war not finishing, not getting resolved. And so that's bled into what we're seeing. But because it's that type of fundamental, as we went through in the advanced video, I don't look for a dramatic move to the downside unless we get some additional fuel to fire up those concerns. But right now, I'm looking for further movement down, but not a big day lower. Just to give you a reference, the dollar difference from this buy to sell level is $7,000 a contract. Again, just to give you a feel for what that means, the difference between the sell to buy level here is $2,250 a contract. When we look at the NASDAQ market, we're also seeing those concerns. People aren't willing to hold on to this market as we go into the weekend. Dollar difference buy to sell level, $26,060 a contract, and the dollar difference from that sell down to that lower buy level is $2,340 a contract. Very similar setup that we just saw in the S&P. Let's move over though to the Dow. And what we see here in the Dow, dollar difference buy to sell level in that market, $240 a contract. And what do we expect? Again, the same thing. Further movement lower, possibly big move down. I don't look for that type of behavior. When we look at what's going on with the Russell, small to mid cap, people also are not willing to hold on to this going into the weekend. The dollar difference here is $350 a contract in that market. But don't look for a big day down, but check out what's happening in the euro. It tells us also, because it's a spread, what's happening with the US dollar. And when you see this market moving down, the euro is weaker, it's cheaper, and the US dollar is stronger. So we're seeing weakness in this currency. The dollar difference up here between those two lines is $125 a contract. The Swissy, we're also looking for further movement lower. Our friend here, the Japanese yen, we're looking for the same type of movement to the downside, but this is at a level where we've seen buyers before. So be cautious here on the short side. The Aussie dollar backed off. I do not look for the same size of move on Monday to the downside, but rather a smaller move in that market. Let's take a look at what's going on the British pound. A lot's happening there. Not only are we seeing the economics, but we're seeing politics happening in the UK. So be careful here. This could easily go lower, but right now, sellers are in control in that market. Canadian dollar, our friends up north, the same boat. Their currency is also weaker or cheaper against the US dollar, and I look for that to continue. Bitcoin's struggling. Look how you see the red, green, red, green. This is a market that doesn't have a clear sense of direction. It does want to go higher, but we're not seeing the consistency that you want to see for that market. Dollar difference buy to sell level here is $6,350 a contract. When we look at what's going on with treasuries, as I mentioned, yields are up. and that means price, that's what we're trading here, price is going down. Look for further movement to the downside, but not a day like you're seeing on Friday. Same holds true in the bond market, the 30-year bonds. Look for weakness, but not the same size of move. When it comes to gold, this also reflects that yield issue. As yields go up, gold becomes less attractive in that regard. Dollar difference buy to sell level here, $7,400 a contract. In silver, dollar difference this buy to that sell level is $52,700 a contract. So what do we look for here? If yields go up, look for weakness there. Even copper, where we're seeing a lot of dynamics fundamentally with this market, but it is also cooling off as we go into the weekend. Dollar difference buy to sell level, $8,750 a contract. When we look at crude oil, a lot of what we're talking about centers around this market, that uncertainty. I don't look for a big move up. We need something new to fuel that, no pun intended. But what we're seeing here is a market that buyers are coming into on the end of the week because they are concerned about what's happening in the Iranian conflict that we're seeing. Dollar difference sell down to that buy level is $4,220 a contract. Buy level to the sell level or sell to that buy level is $1,200 a contract. Well, what about nat gas? Well, here's one dollar difference there, $500 a contract. But I want to point out to you, let me blow that up a little bit. At that sell level, the market traded below it. Now, the dollar difference there is $500 a contract. But look at what happened. It traded below the sell level and it failed on the short side as it closed stronger. So this is a market firming up. I do look for further movement to the upside, about the same size of move. You know, the grain markets are disappointed. And we also have weather conditions that have improved. They were hoping to get something more concrete. It looks like China is going to be buying more of our beans. That's a positive thing. But what we're seeing here is a market that isn't convinced yet. Dollar difference, sell to buy level there is $1,250 a contract. Let's take a look at corn. And we're seeing something very similar. Dollar difference here, sell to buy level, $300 a contract. And further movement down, we have some weather conditions improving in the plains, and that's also had downward pressure here in Mr. Wheat. Dollar difference buy to sell level, $2,300 a contract. Well, those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to being with you again. And in the meantime, take care.